we've got probably, I'm not going to say the one everyone's been waiting for, but a very anticipated game anyway. We've got Chudley Cannons at home to Aster Athletic. Um, Tim's gone for
Wow,
it this week.
That's a ballsy
I
formation.
like that.
I was gonna say when Tim sent it through to me, I was like, I'm looking forward to this one because this can go either way, can't it? It can be really really useful or really really overambitious. I mean, it looks good.
He said he tested it as well against what Aster usually plays, so I'm really excited to see how this one pans out.
I mean, it's
We,
something that I think, Ian, I don't know about yourself, but it's something that I think a lot of people in the league will be looking for. Something to the way Aston's gone off to the start is something that a lot of the managers I think will be looking for a tactic that can maybe counter Alves kind of.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think he's looked at our setup and thought that Boomer and Romadal in those positions could be absolutely key. And I know Romadal's one of his sort of go-to guys, and he always gets something out of Romadal. So I think we look at him tonight as maybe being able to unlock the Aster defence. And I think it's loaded with the guys that he relies on there. And yeah, tried and tested during the week, and this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and Kieran Frey's replacing Westerveld. That's not necessarily a bad thing, I guess.
Not at all. I think Frey's a better keeper than Westerveld. Frey's one of the best in the game, I think. And just seeing one of the comments from Andreas, could be long passing. I tend to agree. I think it'll be trying to bypass that tough midfield that he's got and try and get it wide and get it in the box for Comandini and Rossini.
Yeah, well, I'll let Tim comment on that if anyone wants to let out their secrets. I only show the formations, obviously. Alves, I mean, we can talk about it, but we would be just repeating what we said last week and the week before and the week before that and the week before that. I mean, Brooking is injured, unfortunately, so Ortega comes back in. Hasselbank is back from injury. Rosicky, I think, back from injury as well, but they're only on the bench. Anything to look out for here, and Ian? Anything you expect?
I don't think player-wise it matters too much with Alf. I think it is all about the formation. He can bring guys in, he can take guys out, and they all perform. I think Boyer's been pulling the strings so far this season. So if anything is going to happen, it may come through him, with Smith perhaps getting on the end of it, being back in. It's a case of whether or not Placente and Zanetti leave those back three exposed,
Hmm.
with Boomer and Romadal, bombing on from the wide positions.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to I already changed the screen while you're still talking. I'm too keen to get this started. Hopefully we'll be in for a bit of a classic here. But let's kick it off and see how it goes. I mean, there should be goals in this, shouldn't there? Peter Green is our referee tonight. Breezy and 28 degrees at the Harry Potter theme park, whatever the name of the stadium is. So let's see.
Right.
So okay, so he can get
Maybe
goals.
Van Bommel is going full super mode, Andreas, if you look at the comments.
Oh yeah, maybe. I mean, so he can get goals. Can he keep Alf from scoring? Is what we'll be asking next then, because Aston have conceded 5 or 6 goals already this season. So that hasn't been their main
They're in
strength.
the game though. Looking at the commentary, I think they seem to be in it. Aster, they seem to be posing a bit of a threat.
Plenty of chances anyway.
Yeah, plenty of chances for both, I think. Smith missing a couple.
Wait, who was Alf's mystery man in the end? Was it Ortega?
Oh, there wasn't a mystery man.
Hey, there was someone he wanted to play, but he wouldn't announce it to the masses.
There was no mystery man.
Ah,
Um, First half, I mean, it didn't die down. It died down in the way that there were no more goals, but Aston definitely had a lot of the chances, but Chudley really hanging on here.
It
What?
felt like they were in it all the time. Aster. It felt like they were sort of, they were really going for it. And really, if it had been 1-1 at half time, I think that would have probably felt like the right half time scoreline.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at it's interesting to see that Chudley winning the game on the ground, but not so much in the air. 75% of the tackles that they've won. That's a solid performance, isn't it?
yeah, they seem really up for it today. I think they know this is a top of the table clash, and they're well up for it against Aster, who probably have a bit of a bit of a crosshairs on them after their lightning start.
Yeah.
Talk about Frey at the start was obviously correct because he's having a 9.
Yeah, he's doing well, and if you look at the tackles, I mean, Marinho, who is a guy I'm not familiar with, 6 tackles, won all 6 of them, 5 of them key, and Vrede as well, doing really well on the tackling side. So they're
I've never heard of him either.
No, I don't know.
A real dark horse in the league.
He took him off me in the window before the season started, and you'll find as this season begins and it's going on that there's a lot of guys performing really well that I got rid of. Top 10 guys are littered with guys that I blocked.
Well, we'll see how it gets on. They've certainly found a way to stop Smith and Nicolay. I mean, Smith has just been poor. I think maybe not so much stopped him there. I mean, he's obviously had plenty of shots. He's just not performed. But it looks a little bit as if Aster's tactic is really set up towards those two getting the chances. But they've kept them quiet so far. What do you think, Kieran? Smith, he's one of the top scorers in the league. 5 shots, none of them in. Is that a little bit disappointing?
I think the rating might be a little harsh. He's getting into positions with 5 shots in the first half, 3 of them on target. It's not like he's doing terribly badly. I think once one goes in, it might shoot up to a 7 or an 8. So I wouldn't worry too much. He's done really well, and yeah, Alf knows how to get a tune out of these guys, which may in previous Super Leagues not got a chance.
Yeah, and 80% passes completed for Alf's side, which is not unusual. But we'll kick off the second half, and we'll see what it'll bring, if Tim will be able to hold out, or if Aster will come back in it. An early goal could really set the game, I think, either way, with Chudley either holding on to the win, or Aster getting back into it. But let's see.
It'd be a shock to see Aster not score in a game.
Yes. Cannons with the best of the first 10 minutes, but
it's tense even for us that are
super tense watching it.
There's got to be more goals in this.
I don't know.
There won't be. It'll end 1-0. There won't be any more goals.
Well, we'll see which one of you is right. I was going to say.
First, didn't I?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think, to be fair, Cannons have had the better of it in the second half, but now they're piling in. Just not enough strength to hold them for more than just over an hour. I mean, they're still coming back in. Should have had to have a penalty there on 77. Oh, and now we have a bit of an. I think we do. That one, I think, for the last 5 minutes. We'll see if they can hang on, or if they can pull one back. Oh, Romedal! Who mentioned Romedal in the beginning? And they're still in it. They're still going. Poya with the late winner.
Well, I was both my calls. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I said Romedal and Boy, you're pulling the string. So there we go.
Bloody hell! I feel like I need a shower after that.
Lee Bowyer, the unlikely hero.
No, he's been class this season. He's one of the top performers this season, I think, at the moment.
I mean, that is. I mean, it certainly lived up to the expectations. I think that maybe. I think Tim is onto something with the tactic, but just a little bit too exposed at the back with just the 4 guys hanging out there, and I think eventually running out of steam, as we saw with them picking up an injury as well. Kieran, where do we even begin here? If we look at the stats of the Chudley players, I mean, Comandini kind of is the only one that maybe fell through a little bit. And
Comandini seems like he was kind of hiding in the game. Liverani maybe just as a consequence of 3 goals being conceded to get to 6, but they were well in the contest all the way through. It'll be interesting to see if he sticks with the formation. You say he's onto something, but Tim seems to tinker with formations in a response to the other team, so it'll be interesting to see if he sticks with this or he goes back to his more tried and tested formations.
Yeah, I mean, it difficult to say. He'll sorry, Ian, go on.
I don't see him sticking with that. I think that was for a purpose, that formation, wasn't it? I think he'll trust his more regular formations against the other sides in the league. I think that was tailored for one particular.
I agree, Ian. I agree. He won't. He'll go back to the 3 men in the GM role, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Tim said in the comment now that this was just for Alf. It's not a tactic that we'll see again, and he might not play it against Alf again. Let's see here. First goal, Bartes failed to pick up the ball again. So Bartes having a bit of a crappy one again. He's not been that impressive this season. That let Van Bommel get the first goal. I think we then had to go to half time. Nothing really happened. Second half was a bit of a hectic start, and if we scroll down to the first goal, that was it. Ortega there. Ortega made some space for himself. I think Tim's blaming Liverani already. I think there was a penalty. Nikolai got a goal on assist from Boyer. I think there was a shout for a penalty.
Tim, will Liverani be dropped for next week though?
I mean, it could be after that performance. A 6, maybe.
And he is normally one of the most consistent performers in the league as well.
Yeah, that's true. I could have sworn I saw something about a penalty, but maybe it was my imagination. Oh, it was here. Rossini was knocked to the floor by Zanetti. Peter Green turned down the claims for a penalty. Maybe a little bit unlucky there. I mean, that would have put him back to 2-2 anyway at that point. And then Romedal came up.
No chance he dropped. He's his favorite player.
Right, okay, well, no chance then. Let's have a look. Romedal then got the goal, and then with the last kick of the game, a ferocious left-footed strike from Boyer. 3-2. How about that? Ian, Alf's players, if you look at the stats here, good, but there's no 10s, which is maybe unusual for Alf, but I mean, that front four is...
You would take that every week, wouldn't you? If it was all 7, 8s and 9s, you'd always take that. You wouldn't worry about not having any 10s. He's come away and he's won the game, and everybody's played their part.
Yeah. 2 assists for Alan Smith.
Alan Smith really turned around that first half performance as well.
Yeah, he was poor, and then he got 2 assists. I mean, maybe he probably started passing instead of taking the chances himself. So maybe that worked out. Boyer, CM's man of the match. Very exciting, very exciting. Emerson 74 fitness. Someone was asking for fitness stats after the game. They were all fine. I mean, apart from the guy who got injured, they were all still in their 80s. So they definitely weren't running out of steam.
Will anyone beat Aster this season?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Like away to Chudley, 3-2. Like, I'm pretty afraid of facing Alf now, if I'm being honest.
Well, I'm not going to call out Fifey, but if you let 3 goals into Swindon and then you play, then well, we'll see. There'll have to be some tinkering done. I think. I mean, don't forget that this was the formation that Alf used for a lot of last season as well, and he didn't win the grand final then. But I think there's some people that needs to go and they need to go and have a look at the.
And it won't have gone unnoticed at the Borough that is 2 defeats on the trot for Chudley, who as well were looking good at the start. They were top 2, and then that's 2 on the trot.
True. I mean, to be fair, they did have a bit of a disadvantage in the game against you, but and still almost won, even though there were 10 players.
Someone gets sent off. Like, red cards are red cards, and a loss is a loss.
Yeah. And Aster is definitely picking up the yellow, so it could easily happen to them as well. But it wasn't to be. Not today. They go top with 15 points.
So strong today.
That's a big one. So we'll see how Chudley bounce back from this, but I'm pretty sure they will. I mean, this was probably as strong a performance as I've seen from anyone against Aster this season. So there's definitely a lot of heart to take from that. And unlucky with Mourinho getting injured, obviously, but the Cannons will come back from this one. I'm sure. It looks as if